ridicule. Welcome. Hello, friend.
Hello.
I think we are now going to talk about an episode where our friend is going to interact with you and you're going to interact with him for the first time in the history of this game as we've recorded it. Of course, all through last year we did more than just the two of you. Also had several other people play with us. So it's kind of nice to have this happen. But I don't know when he'll come in. So the main thing I would say, could you recap what you remember of last time's episode, as far as you remember?
So the last thing that happened was the group I was with was awakened to the fact that they are gods and goddesses.
Right.
When they see, right, they're seeing this, right, for the first time, whatever they suspected about the reality of the world that they were in, they see that this is that is the true reality. And so there's that, and also obviously our ability then to, because of that, we also have some power in the world that we're in that is beyond some human power there. And then secondly, I'm trying to get in contact with Penn.
Yes.
Penn seems to be captive.
Mm-hmm.
And I am trying to figure out a way to help him without, but also just I'm not really understanding completely what his situation is, right? So I'm trying. For me, I'm overthinking it, which is something I do. I'm thinking it's a delicate situation, so I can tread lightly.
Certainly. If you'd like to, I'd like to. You have the ability to have any sided dice, right?
Yeah.
Could you simulate the idea of a 6, an 8, and a 10-sided die? Can you do that?
Yes.
6.
Okay. So you want me to spin the 8?
6.
Yeah,
8,
I have it.
And 10-sided. I do not have my 20-sided. I do not have my 12-sided. So we'll have to do these.
That's cool. I can definitely do that. So do you want me to roll them, or are you?
Yes, I'm going to tell you. Well, I'm going to do. What's happening now? Is that you, friend?
No.
Sorry, friend. That was somebody invading from the Sheep Fiends. That was Sheep Fiends music. That was not welcome. The Sheep Fiends song. The Sheep Fiends song.
Weird.
The Sheep Fiends song "Orgone" is the song that we use at least the beginning. The first little moments of it is the beginning. Is the kind of like theme of this live action scripture campaign we're in. And there'll be a time where I play the whole thing. I might do it later tonight even. But now you are ready. I want to, if you could, I'm going to roll all 3 of these, and then you roll one of each of those 3 denominations of things. So 6, 8, and 10. Here we go. This will determine you. I'm rolling for the difficulty. You exceed my difficulty, the more, the better. That's mostly how we've been doing that kind of thing. So let me do this. and then roll when and this will give you insight into more of what you can kind of sense what Gail's situation is. So obviously, still you don't know, and maybe give you an idea of what to do. So I'm going to roll first, and I get 8 and 3, which is 11, and 5, which is, well, let's see, what's 5? It's 8 and 8. It's 16. Roll with those 3.
Okay. So you want me to roll a 6, side die, and a 10. Okay.
6, 8, and 10, please. Come up with something better than 16 if you can.
You roll some dice the results. Come on.
These are demons that are attacking us. That's all it is.
I have a 5.
Yes. Plus?
An 8.
5 and 8, which is 12.
And a 6.
Hello!
18.
You know what you do? As you, hang on, I'm sorry. Hang on, I'm sorry. Hello, we're in the game and you're just in the right time, so I'm going to turn you up and put you on. Will that be okay? Cool. All right, talk as loud as you can because it's hard. Hello, can you say something? Okay, I'm going to turn this fan off. Try again. This is really soft. I don't know how to make it louder. Is there any way you can boost you? Oh, I know what to do.
My mouth is next to the speaker.
Try again.
Hey, Gail. Hello, Gail.
What's going on?
Not much. It's good to have you in the game and play together.
Yes, are we going to recap or something happened yet? Or?
This is what's happened. So the thing is, Melchizedek and his friends, who he's made, is interested, the new friends, you'll see that in a minute. He has just rolled 2 more than the difficulty level that was established for knowing what to do. So what's happening is, remember you're being interrogated, remember?
Actually, I'm a bit foggy.
The last thing that happened was you had an argument with 2 neighbors of Cassandra in that hotel. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay, well you had an interaction. There was Cassandra. Do you remember Cassandra as an idea?
Did I ask her questions about her reality and she didn't understand?
You never met her. You met her. You met her uncle.
Oh.
You were returning a bag to her uncle.
Oh, right. Okay, I remember now. I found a backpack on the street. And
Right.
I felt questionable that I found this item, so I decided to search through it, and I found a selection of different people to go visit. The first one I visited was the uncle, right?
That's right.
And he was kind of questionable.
A horrible man. What would you describe him as?
Curvy.
Yes. Go on. There's more to him than that. What was his objective?
I don't remember, but whatever it was, I remember there was something conniving about it.
Do you remember his relationship to Cassandra?
It's his niece, or daughter, or niece, or...
Something like that. And what else do you know about it?
That's all I remember.
You don't remember the letter that he had that was all romantic toward her?
Oh, right, yeah, that was creepy.
So, if you can remember that, explain that to Comrade.
Comrade?
Comrade, our friend, Miguel, right now.
Oh, hello. Oh, as a refresh or a character?
Yeah, you do a recap. You do your recap, and then Miguel's already done his recap, and we were recording it just about 5 minutes ago, so everything's very open. So please go on. And you remember that you had this interaction with this guy in a very wealthy penthouse thing. And what did he say as you remember? And if you don't remember much, that's fine, but then move on to the next thing. And if you could just recap till you remember, and then I'll fill in if I remember.
Could you just give me a recap?
What I recall is that you had this interaction. The guy has some kind of romantic interest in Cassandra, even though he's also a close relative.
Right, and I gave him the letter or her backpack, then felt weird about it, and then went to go to the next place afterwards.
The next place you figured out to go to was the loft space, correct? Of Tobit, her boyfriend, evidently.
Right, and I have no memory of what happened.
Well, you got drunk at the bar, man. That's what happened. So that's what happened. You were at the bar listening to music, which happened to be very Sheep Fiends kind of music, although it was a different bands by name. I'm playing with you. You didn't get drunk, but I'm just saying you kind of...
I was wondering. I was trying to remember that.
You were smoking cigarettes and stuff, and you were getting stuff from people. Anyway, you left that place because so just between the two of us, you remember, Miguel, there was a demonstration, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember how it had gone? You had followed Tobit and Cassandra on the back of that motorcycle, that very long motorcycle that so many people could fit on. You ended up going to the loft space. You ended up going out to blow the horn, the shofar, when you were trying to talk to God, and you did that in the midst of a demonstration. Well, I'm telling you both, the reason that Gail's character Penn could not get to you, Miguel Melchizedek, is because there was a police roadblock that blocked all the buses. The reason for that was that somewhere closer to where you are, Melchizedek, there was like a kettling situation where they were kettling all the demonstrators, and they were separating them. So whatever's going to happen, that has something to do with what we're talking about. In other words, you might have some danger coming to you because of where you are. But in any case, Penn's character continued to interact, went back to the hotel where Cassandra's uncle had given him a room, and he had an interaction with Cassandra's room where Cassandra was not, but there were several people kind of waiting and living there and including someone named Six and someone named Seven, who claimed to be the sixth and the seventh from the source. That's what they said. You claimed for some reason to be Zero. That made them call hotel security. Hotel security dragged you down to a sub-basement. You were being interrogated. And that is almost all lovely because...
Okay, I remember that. Yeah, I said Zero because I assumed that I was nobody.
Actually, Zero is the most... Zero is the most important number that you can have.
Oopsie-daisy.
So now that we know that, Miguel's character last week was able to kind of like... Do you remember, Miguel, how it worked? Because if you don't, I'll tell you.
What I was able to do, I was trying to contact Penn.
Right.
And I guess what I remember is I got to the point where I had to make a decision about what I would do. Would I pull Penn from that situation? Did Penn want to be out of that situation? Right? I was like, so that was a decision that I had to make. That's where I'm at now.
And that's who you are again.
Yeah. But I think the other thing is that I've successfully awakened Tobit, Cassandra, and all of the comrades to the fact that they are gods.
Right.
And so I've demonstrated that power to them. They believe it. They experienced it. They use that power to essentially block the police from raiding the loft, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's where we're at right now, right? So we're just kind of like, okay, how do we spread this knowledge to all the other gods that are here? And how do we rescue Penn and the tardigrades that they need rescuing?
Well, it was through the tardigrades that you got the impression that Penn was being interrogated somewhere, was being kind of tormented by several people around the table. And then you tried to pull Penn to safety, and it was unclear what that meant, and I, as the storyteller, was trying to make you be specific, and then it kind of like the conversation drifted, and then the episode ended. Well, we are now dealing with the fact that partially because you rolled well, partially because Gail just called, partially because the universe is cooperating with us, partially because everything is going well. The time you tried to communicate with Penn and it was unable to, it is no longer unable to, and there you are communicating. Penn, you are right now sitting with three big, like, well, they're human, but they're very tall and strong, interrogators. Two of them are close to you, like they're gonna like kind of hold you, and maybe they are holding you, and the third one is kind of shouting at you. What do you mean you're the zero? What do you mean by that? Can you please explain that, sir?
Ken, can you hear me?
What I said was 1 and 0.
You said it clearly that you were zero. Keep doing that, Miguel. One.
Ken, can you hear me? Ken. This is Melchizedek.
Should I talk out loud or?
Yeah, what we're doing, we're establishing that Miguel's character is talking to you in your mind. So in your mind is what we're talking about. I'll continue to talk like there's something going on, and you guys talk. So talk.
And
What do you mean?
and I was able to give the knowledge to Tobit, Cassandra, and everyone in the loft. Okay, their friends and their comrades that we are gods, and so they have this knowledge. They have this power. What do you want us to do?
Explain what?
We can. They are gods. They've realized they are gods.
Who realized?
He doesn't know your friends, man. He doesn't know any of those people.
Oh, I thought he.
No.
Okay, but he knows.
Here's what
about Cassandra.
He found. Remember when Cassandra dropped? You said it's awkward on the motorcycle. She dropped the purse. He found the purse. That's all he knows of you. He knows you, but he doesn't know Cassandra, Tobit. He just met the uncle. You don't know the uncle, and that's what's happening. He had a whole episode that's his own thing.
Okay, listen. I am with a group of people, and they are gods, right? All of the people here, or as far as I understand, are the gods who are trapped in sarcophaguses. So we need to...
Yeah, that's right. I tried to explain this to some of them, but no one wants to listen.
Well, the people I'm with have listened. So,
well, the people I'm with are interrogating me because I guess I made some verbal blunder and told them I was a zero, thinking that that meant I was nobody. And now I'm being interrogated in a hotel by some muscle men.
Well, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to come and rescue you?
I mean, I don't want to stay here.
Okay. So, then...
Do it before they beat me up.
Okay, so this is what okay, so by the power of El and the other gods, I'm reaching out into that hotel and I am pulling Penn away into our realm, into the loft.
Give me a moment. Oh, sorry. We are waiting for the next sound effect. That's wrong.
Doorbell rang.
Tobit, Cassandra, comrades, we need to rescue. We need to rescue one of my comrades. We need to rescue one of my fellow travelers.
Cassandra starts clearing her throat.
So what happened next?
You gotta wait for the sound effect to go. There's the sound effect. So, Pen, you're just walking into a big loft, and you don't know how you got there.
Oh, so I just suddenly disappeared from where I was?
And you don't even remember the disappearance. You're just all of a sudden, everything went dark, and you felt the door open, and you felt your hand on a doorknob, and you opened it.
Welcome, Pen.
Welcome, Pen.
So glad
Welcome, guy.
Was I just teleported?
Teleported? That's, I suppose you could be teleported, or maybe we bent the paper that everything is and put parts that are on either side together and put a hole in the middle, and then we went through it and we folded back the paper, and now we have a big map. And you didn't hear that joke? It's a funny joke. It's a joke about how it is. And hi, my name's Guy. I'm an artist. I'm Tobin. How you doing? Welcome. It worked. They're all kinds of people, but they're all, as you notice, pretty much everyone in this community, this city, looks like people with glass faces that you can see inside them. So they all look like that. Some of them look pretty, but they all look like that. So Cassandra is pretty and kind of somewhat foreign. You don't know why you think foreign, because you don't know the city enough to know what that means. But somehow in your mind, there is something about Cassandra that is not from here. Tobit seems like he's from here. A lot of other people do. There's a young artist who has a crown and a beret on her head. You notice that Melchizedek has a crown and a beret on his head. And by the way, all the other 20 or 30 others seem to have crowns and berets on their heads. And they're wearing them in different ways.
Okay, well, I'm going to pose the same thing I've been trying to pose to people however long I've been here. So I say, so, do any of you realize that your deity's trapped in a sarcophagus prison being used as energy sources by a maleficent deity?
I'm starting to see it. I am too. Yeah, I think so. Probably.
And we hadn't gotten that far. This all just happened.
But I can see,
this is true.
Melchizedek, I can see that is our fate, is the suggestibility of our situation is our power. Almost like we're in a book or something, or we're writing the book, or both at once. You're deep, baby.
We're still in the book?
Well, I think we're in a book, but I need my book. You know, I dropped my... You didn't see a bag where... You didn't see a bag. Why would you be even there?
Yeah, actually, I did find a bag.
Oh!
What's your name?
Cassandra?
Cassandra, I found your bag and I tried to deliver it for you, but your uncle has it.
My uncle has it? Uncle Stanko has it?
Yeah.
I've got to get it back.
I'm sorry.
Wait, Cassandra, what exactly is in the bag?
Well, a lot of things, makeup and other things I need, but really it's this workbook that I've been working on for a really long time. It's a workbook that I got, didn't even know, it was privileged information that I'm not supposed to have yet, further courses that I didn't have a chance to even look at, but I had this notebook, I wanted to look at it, and I had a notebook too that I was writing in notes on, but this workbook was the future of the whole operative institute, the Operative Recovery Institute, which is the cult. You call it a cult, but it's not a cult. There's a lot of good in it.
Sandra, I don't mean to interrupt you, but everyone, do you realize that this is not reality? None of this. This is all, don't be attached to any of this. This is not your reality. You are all enslaved.
Melchizedek.
Please, drop that.
Melchizedek.
Yes.
This might seem a little meta, but wouldn't that apply to our reality as well?
Yeah, I guess to a certain degree that is true.
In a
But
sense,
in terms
so
of
the dragon ate the world, regurgitated it. Even in that wasn't proper reality, and then we ended up in another sub-reality, very much like she was talking about in the crystal ball. I literally stood on words.
I think the thing right now is the realities that we're living in and experiencing are kind of like an onion, and we're like slowly peeling them, and this layer needs to be peeled.
Is Sunny with you?
Oh, so you remember, Miguel, that the book that Penn comes from is a book that we've written. A. Nancy Spider wrote, developing Penn's world, and Penn or Gale's world. Penn, as a character from there, there's several other characters, like 7, I guess, or more than that. They're all all the tardigrades took the major characters of that book.
Okay.
That was the same world, remember, we were in when we met Jeff's character, St. Marta, in that world that was misty, and there was a whole like city, and there was like jumping around the world, there was mummies, there was a moon. All that was in Gale's world that A. Nancy Spider and Gale put together, and Penn is the character from. So sorry, the Sunny is one of the tardigrades. That might have been the one that was with you, Miguel,
Okay.
Melchizedek. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I believe Sunny is. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I believe Sunny is.
Okay, well, could I get her back, please?
Absolutely.
You don't know how
Sunny.
you don't know how Melchizedek had her, and he doesn't seem to know, and you didn't know how you lost her, and now you don't know, but you do have them back now. You have all 7 now, and you don't know where they are, but you know they're with you.
Oh, sweet. So I take out my little terrarium and I open it for them to go in.
They all go in, and as you do that, it's like you put it in, and then the hand comes out and meets your hand and shakes it, and you don't know what it is, like it's illusion, and then all of a sudden you have your bag with the tardigrades back, the way you were back in the old world before you came to the cities.
Nice.
That reminds me. Where are my servants? My goodness, I've been so wrapped up in this world that I've forgotten everything else.
How would you?
Are they still in the tomb?
They are still in the
That's
tomb.
right.
Now, how is the tomb connected?
Servants, 2 of them got taken out by some monsters, and I hid in a hallway. And then the last one of the 3 took off down the hallway, and that's the last I saw of them. The one with the whip.
Indiana. That's news. That's since.
Yeah.
So Comrade Penn, how many are left around the Ark? Do you remember? There were 5 altogether, and then you.
Right. I know the guy with the whip took off after the monsters.
Okay.
And 2 of the guys got killed or maimed or something.
Well,
so there were 5 of them. I guess there's someone was left with it.
There's probably 2 left and 2 injured, and Indiana's gone after the guy who the Anakim or Orc or whatever it was that ran off and survived their attack. That's what's happened. So that's an update for you, Melchizedek, because that's new. It's in the time since.
Okay.
If you want to contact them, you have to figure out how to contact them, and that's what we'll be rolling for.
I will. I think I do want to contact them, but also I'm running up against the time thing right now, Sid and Gil. I've got to get up early in the morning. I've got a
great one.
Yeah.
I got a great one. Roll the dice. Just roll those 3 dice. This will be the last thing you do.
Okay, so I'm going to do the 6-sided.
The 8-sided and the 10-sided, please.
4.
Yes. Add them together. Just don't tell me until you get it all.
Huh?
Please add them all together.
Okay.
Tell me the number of all three. Like all three together when you get it.
15.
15 total? 15?
It's 15. 16.
16. Okay, that's what I got. 10 and 6s. You are able to establish contact with the two servants that are remaining, unless you want to talk to Indiana. Decide which one of those three you want to talk to. The one with the name or the two without a name that are by the ark?
One with a name.
Okay, you are now following Indiana, and you are thinking about him as he's going after through the ruins of the crypt, trying to find the one guy who got away. And that's where you zip off. And as you zip off, really with your heart and love for them, you zip out. You're not even there. And Gail and I can continue this in the room with these strangers.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Let me know what you're doing. Maybe we'll do this next Tuesday or the Tuesday after Christmas.
Okay.
Love you, friend.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
So long.
Great playing with you, Gail. Bye-bye.
Stay with me, Gail. Stay with me, okay?
Okay.
So there you are in a room. You see that the vision of... Say it one more time.
Where'd Mel go?
He zipped off. I'm telling you what happened.
Oh, I meant it in character to the other people.
Oh, well, I want to explain what happened, and then you can all then react. He has a mind to remember. You see above him, in a kind of a haze, like a halo, you see the ark. You see the two people standing by the ark. You see the two people at their feet, sick and hurt. And you see Indiana, the guy who looks kind of like Indiana Jones, running down and through endless Byzantine kind of labyrinthine maze after whatever he's after. This zipped Melchizedek into the vision. He zips into his own halo, and then the halo gets very bright, and then it fades out completely, leaving you with these strangers. So go ahead. You said that you don't know where he went. Cassandra's like, I don't know where he went. Beats the hell out of me.
We keep getting separated.
It's bad luck. Bad luck. You should all stay in your robots. If you stayed in a robot, you wouldn't have to go anywhere that the robot wasn't already going. I'm worried about him. What shall we do?
Well, he's pretty self-reliant. But I think there's a bigger problem.
What's the bigger problem?
What are these people with numbers?
What do you mean by numbers?
Well, some people said they were 7 and 8, and I didn't understand what that meant. And
you mean six? You mean six? You mean 6 and 7? They live next door to me. Actually, they live in my room. What are they doing?
6 and 7?
They're 6th and 7th from the source.
What's the source?
It's terrifying. It's the power of all the universe. That's what the cult, you call it a cult. It's not a cult. You've got to stop making me say it's a cult. It's a cult. It's not a cult. Baby, it's not a good thing. It's not a cult. Anyway, this very good organization, the Operative Recovery Institute, has lifted me out of the mundane, quotidian reality and given me knowledge that somewhere in the universe, there's 24 beings around a central nothing. That central nothing is the old, new, and every other way intelligence of the universe, the God of the universe. And, well, I remember this because I was looking ahead in that book. There were some indexes and appendices, and that's what they were explaining. But people who are, numbered of a very, within the 24, they have a great amount of power. 6 and 7 have been using it to, make me let them stay at my room for free.
What's your name?
Cassandra.
It's Cassandra.
Yes.
So, they had you join their cult so they could have a free rent?
I'm not even sure why they're there. They just keep bothering me, and every time I'm around them, I start feeling terrible feelings and just thoughts and just nausea and they seem to be able to. I was getting paranoid that they were doing this to me, sending me energy in ways that I didn't like. I know that's crazy.
No, it's not crazy at all.
What do you think it might be something that could happen or that they would do?
Well, I told them I was 0.
Oh, what did they do?
I guess they technically arrested me.
Oh, that's where we were rescuing you from. That place where those muscle men were being muscly.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this, we could take them out with these robots. By the way, you notice that there are these very large sculptures, 20 and 30 feet high, that this guy called Guy is kind of jumping around between the feet of and the head of. He's jumping up in, and he's got like a little cockpit in the top of the head. And you see that some of these sculptures, walking sculptures, have moved, and they've all been close to the door from the last thing they dealt with, which you didn't really hear much about that, so I won't say.
You have automatons?
Robots!
Okay, what are they for?
Scare the shit out of people who we don't like.
So some of you seem opposed to each other in a sense. Are you a part of some kind of group collectively?
None of us are. We're just artists who make art in this lost space. Tobit's lost space. Thanks, guys. I try my best. The only person in this place who's in any kind of organization is our good friend Cassandra. Some of us were in that institute, you call it, but we got out of it. There's things that you don't understand. There's things that I have yet to understand. And there are things that I'm learning now with Melchizedek and what he showed us last time when we played the game. And the game got us to be goddesses and gods. And we saw that we really were. It was amazing when that happened just a little while.
You already know. You all know.
We know. We understand what Melchizedek told us.
I feel like you know, but your actions make it seem as though you don't believe it.
What about our actions make you think that?
Well, I mean, this guy is talking about robots and people.
Robots!
And you're talking about your uncle and stuff. All this entire scenario you're concerned about is a fiction.
Well, how do you... Well, so you don't even think my bag is real?
So, can I try something?
Sure.
I'm going to see if I could do like I had done a little bit with Melchizedek before, and I get one of my tardigrades, Ken,
Mm-hmm.
and I want him to enter this woman and see if he can show her where we came from.
You mean the last place you were at, the world of the last year?
I want to show him where we began.
Mm-hmm.
I want to show her the green dragon, and I want to show her the tomb and how I got here in the first place.
Let me see. Hang on a
Maybe
minute.
kind of like the tardigrade going in her mind, kind of to, mess with her, what are they called? The things that connect memory, the brain part, what is it called? The little microscope, what is it called?
The part that... Explain it more, then.
You know how you're in your brain, the strands that are in the sky of exaltia are membranes and things that are connecting,
Oh, right.
So I'd like to make some connections in her and give her the memory and show her where we came from.
Okay. So you're saying that there's a kind of a fibrous reality of membranes, or what you want to say, and you're going to use those to show her where we were before.
Yeah.
Do you have any dice?
I unfortunately have no dice. I lost them in my move.
Okay, let me roll the 3 dice you've been using, which is a 6, an 8, and a 10. Let me roll them. First of all, define the difficulty. Let's see. 9.
Yeah, I've got to activate neurons and create synapses related to where we've been.
Let's try to make this happen. Let me just add the numbers together. So 8, it's got 17. I got 17 for the difficulty. You got to roll over that. So let's see. We got 15. You got 19. Well, it's almost like as you showed this, all the fibers and things, and Ken going and explaining those to Cassandra in a kind of a space in between spaces, kind of a subconscious reality, like a dream state almost, that Cassandra is falling into talking to Ken. You get this. Almost like you're looking at the codex of what you've gone through. Opening to the 14th chapter of Genesis, Melchizedek, king of Salem, returned from victory in the battle against the tyrant of Elam, King Chedorlaomer, ending his 13-year oppression of the 5 kingdoms of the plain, the 5 great cities, Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboim, and Zor. Returning from the battle to free Canaan to find a strange man in his court. When the king asked him who he was, he answered many names: Pen, Ken, Kitty, Sonny. King Melchizedek began addressing his guests by all these names. Pen allowed the king to know that he was from a world before and after this one, a world where he was many people in one, a world inside where they lived, sometimes coming out into the world outside. Pen allowed the king to call him Pen. Long ago, or in a time long yet to be, the green dragon ate the whole world, the heavens, the sun and moon, the wheel of time and space, leaving the world one thing, the Ouroboros. The prophecy said that the green dragon would unite earth and sky. Many had hoped she would bring them together, Mother Earth and Father Heaven, as family once again. Instead, she brought them together the way you might bring 2 pieces of bread together in a sandwich. The green dragon awoke in the 12th chapter of the book of Revelation, and saw the red dragon persecuting the woman giving birth, and burned that red dragon, and I smoked that red dragon, and chased that red dragon right out of the book. The green dragon followed the words beyond the word into the world, and she kept flying till she found her old mountaintop, the highest peak overlooking a lake of tears. And this is the beginning, as you might remember, of the scroll that describes your whole last year's adventure. And I could obviously keep reading it, but I'm just going to let her see it, and anyone who's interested in it should look at that, or maybe we'll have another one where we describe it. Can you describe as best you can your decision, or your decision with Melchizedek to seek out the green dragon in the first place? What made you do it? Probably a long time ago.
Well, I got caught up with Melchizedek, and he was looking for his god named El.
Right.
And in the process of finding El, we discovered the goddess.
Right.
And she's being held captive by a demonic dragon named Halifar.
Halifar is actually a Neanderthal priestess who controls the red dragon. Who controls the red dragon? Halifar or Hamnifar. She has several names.
Oh, Hamnifar is the controller of the dragon, not the dragon itself.
Right. The dragon itself has no name except it's red.
Which I think that's why I assumed that's who it was, because there was no name for it, and I heard Halifar after the fact, so I guess I confused the dragon.
Halifar, Harmonifar. There's several ways to describe the Neanderthal priestess that used to be a friend and comrade to Ranzaray, who you may or may not have remembered, Penn. So I don't know why I bring on, but it's a friend of it's a friend of Jeff's character Marta, and then the little part yeah. Anyway, that doesn't explain. It doesn't describe us. That'll come up later. But so Harmonyfar, or Hollyfar, or Harmonyfar, however you want to say this Neanderthal's name, she is the lord of the Anakim right now. We're the tall, 9 foot tall Goliath type people who are making war with Green Dragon. The Green Dragon, go on with it then. So that's what we now know, that the vision of the 12th chapter of Revelation is what's been played with for at least since May of 2022. And it was the same idea that freeing that dragon, not freeing the dragon, but like freeing the woman from the dragon, and then having the woman be enchained with the dragon is like kind of like the thing that keeps her imprisoned, is under the control of this enemy of the green dragon.
Right. So I'll keep explaining to her. So we met this green dragon who's opposed to Hamifar, and is also battling this red dragon. However, the green dragon themselves are a bit Machiavellianist and really only cares about their needs. And we had to do a lot of work, mostly scrubbing and itching, to convince the dragon that we would assist in her plea to defeat the dragon and free even herself from this now digested world they had created.
Huh.
Unfortunately, we took a trip into an item in which the dragon was in possession of, a crystal sphere of some sort, a glass ball that bends and creates, maybe even shapes reality based on what someone thinks. I realized in this sphere I could create anything I desired. In fact, we created such a deep realization that Melchizedek was able to not only summon his deity, but find his wife, and which informed us that we were in a search for the red dragon. I think I said that in a sentence.
Uh-huh.
You see, I know a little bit about surreal worlds, which is why I believe I ended up here. When I was much younger, I had a troublesome childhood which split my mind, creating many different people within me. Not just people, but it also split into a world itself, a place called Zoltea. During a troubled time, I had to protect these people, so I brought them all into my mind. It freed something, an old demon of mine called Arcane Maelstrom. It was an idea of the pain I experienced that manifested into a living being, as the rest of my splits were.
Cassandra's very much listening. The rest, the people close to you are listening. People farther away are kind of about their own business, but they're not bothering you. So if you want to continue telling Cassandra, she's all ears.
Well, they escaped Arcane Maelstrom within me, unfortunately releasing him from the mental prison I had locked him in, causing me a lot of stress and creating some internal struggles that I still haven't exactly worked on. But when we all came out of Zoltea, there was a calamity of some sort happened, a battle I'm not completely familiar with, because one of my internal characters, Mir, had taken over me. He told me that a giant hand came down from the sky, grabbed us, and led us into a place that was like a castle, but it ended up teleporting us into this tomb, a huge tomb, vast, and inches apart from each other were large sarcophaguses, each one connecting to some kind of glowing cordage. Because of my abilities, I used my tardigrades to follow this cordage, which led me here, discovering that all of the people that I saw in that sarcophagus are all residents of this place.
Huh.
And the rest you know. I came here, I tried to tell people this, no one would listen to me. I found your backpack and explored a few places you might be familiar with. Your uncle's loft, a bar, and a hotel. Then I got in trouble at the hotel, and here we are.
You told them you were Zero?
Yes, and I still don't understand why that was such an issue or what that means.
Zero, according to the higher levels of the Operative Recovery Institute, is the nothing and everything of, well, everything. And to channel that source is what the source, the person I'm very interested in hearing more about and hearing from him about everything he knows about the weight of guilt and the weight of anger and the weight of the landfill, really, because the landfill is connected to it.
Landfill?
There's a landfill all around this place. It goes on forever.
There's trash landfill, you mean?
It's
like
all
compost?
made something worse, friend. It's kind of like a glowing gray shit that's all over this planet other than here.
Can you guys take me to this?
I'm not going there. I'd rather not. Maybe we could get you over there, but you'd have to, well, why do you want to go over there?
It might give me answers. If I saw this and recognized it somehow, it might help me figure out what I'm dealing with.
Well, maybe I could go with you.
Maybe the landfill's nothing but a border to keep you in this place. Or maybe the landfill is literal in some sense and has some other significant importance.
Well, you can tell that they're very. I'm going to roll your dice again to see how they react to that. Let's see. You roll better than them. You can tell that they're all very afraid of the landfill, and that it seems, at least to them, pretty real. There seems to be a connection between all the repression going on in the world, like the fears and the angers and paranoias and all the things that go on in a city, is all kind of like, as you described with the membranes and everything, that gets shot almost into this big waste, this abyss of burning sand, if you will, but gray, and it's terrible. And Melchizedek's been there and thought it was very toxic and terrible. There was somebody in the loft who had interacted with Melchizedek last time about that, but no one really could believe that Melchizedek had gone there. But people are afraid of it, but you've rolled better than there, so if you give them enough time, they might go with you. In fact, if it's okay, Gail, I think I'll stop here and just have you then pick up with them next time we play to go toward the landfill and see what you can find.
Okay.
That's a great place to end because I don't have more than that, and that would be a whole new chapter that I'm not ready to do yet.
Sweet.
Well, thank you, man. This is
like a good thing to do.
Oh, it's interesting depending what you find. I don't know what you're going to get out there. There was a thought that eventually it would be great to have someone go out into that thing. Melchizedek, when you get a chance, look at the episodes, and I'm still working on the captions, but Melchizedek has been in the landfill for like a minute, and then he came into the city, and then
I was passively listening to it while I was doing some writing on my unit.
Oh, nice.
So I think I heard something about him doing talking about something being filthy or
toxic.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, the last one on the list I couldn't watch. So it wasn't available on YouTube.
As I say, that was because I had it up. I was working on it all night, and I did not shut it off. So I don't think you could get it then. Try it now. Not right now, but next time you get a chance, try it now, and let me know that you can get it, because you should be able to get it. I got it on my own when I shut it down. I sent you texts to that effect. You were probably busy already.
Say what?
You were probably already going to do what you're doing today. So.
Oh yeah, I haven't really looked.
I sent you several texts, but yeah, this is great. What did you think of this?
It's a lot of fun. It's coming together, getting some ideas going on where we're going with it. I'm still in the dark about it, but that's kind of fun part.
Well, if you want to get what they know, I'll continue to work on captions, and probably by sometime next week we'll have all the ones up that we've done already. So you have like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, you're talking. I'm listening. What?
You're making like sounds.
Oh, that's funny because I held my phone, I think, up to the speaker. That was my breathing.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll end it here with the thought that we should get together sometime. When are you free again?
What is today? Thursday?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, and then Tuesday to Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay, let me get
Tomorrow,
back.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
What time tomorrow would be good?
Any day. I'm just chilling here.
Okay, so I would suggest I would like to do it toward the nighttime because it's easier for me to do that. Let me call you. Let me call or text you sometime tomorrow afternoon and see if I can do it tomorrow. If not, let's get together on Tuesday or Wednesday, definitely. And the thing will be, you'll get your friends to go with you into the landfill. Whatever you explore, we'll find out.
I like the way we have these like kind of micro gaming sessions. Makes it feel like very episodic.
Yeah, it has that feeling to it. I like how it's turning out. I like how it's like evolved into that.
Because we played just long enough to cover a portion of an idea.
Yeah. We don't.
Which feels, yeah.
It feels episodic. It feels complete. It feels like a show, and it also doesn't do what I think a lot of other games do, where they really drag. There's nothing wrong with watching a whole D&D session for 4 hours. It's great to see that, or a whole role-playing game of various kinds. But to do it our way, we're always kind of fresh, so that when you listen to it, it's done. Like you're done with it. You want more rather than you feel like you've had it all. You know.
And like when I'm thinking about it in my head, it's almost as funny to think a 4-hour session of D&D could cover just as much of the story that we've covered without all the extra drag.
Right.
Constant rolling, constant data checking and everything to make sure everything has to follow some kind of rule base.
Definitely.
So I feel like even doing a shorter game covers just as much as a long game would, except we don't have to worry about the drag. We could just make decisions based on if they're furtherable.
I love that, Matt. I agree with you 100%. The drag of it is the only thing that can make it less fun, and that unfortunately is something that exists. We really kind of avoid that by the fact that we're all kind of busy. We have, we don't have the time to do 4-hour games. But at the same time, I think we get more done in like an hour than some people do. So that's kind of what you said too. So.
Yeah.
Well, brother, thank you for talking to me and playing with me. And good. Is there any questions you have or anything you want to think about for the next time we go, if it's tomorrow or Tuesday or whenever it is?
No. Give me a call and I'll pose it in game and see what the characters come up with.
Okay, friend. I'll keep it open too, and we'll see what goes on.
All right. Cool.
Well, take care, brother. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, sir. It was a nice one. I went to the comedy show.
Thanks a lot for being part of this, man. This is really turning out to be a fun story in a bunch of different. We've got a lot of different people who have brought their just different great things into it. But you, among all the people ever in this series, have given more to this series than any one character, probably.
I don't know about that.
Well, Penn being a Penn, but I'm saying like old days, like back in the first and second books, like Shakes, the Theon, and just like all this. Like I've said that before, but I'll say it again. I really appreciated how you allowed a very unbalanced character not to ruin the game.
Yeah, I think the fun part of that is most people who play D&D, they're all about like I'm going to become the warrior who kills everything,
Right.
But as an actor, I don't have that same gaming experience. And as a person who plays role-playing games, which is RPGs, it's technically acting in digital form.
Sure.
I appreciate telling a cohesive story more than being the winner, if that makes sense.
Me too. I agree with you with that. Like the thing I remember back there with Shakes, you were always so kind of like how Shakes was, very powerful but didn't know it. and you had to discover the things you could do. There was a section where you could like get to be very tall and very small. That happened almost toward the end of the story because you didn't really know you could do that. Like when you decided to be a Durga, a sexually attractive dwarf, to kind of like try to get with Lumla, so that you could make another like a seed egg, because you did something very technical, making more Theons. And Lumla was very like, I don't get that. I don't want to be with you. What?
I don't remember that, but that sounds interesting.
That was in the second book. That's when the two of you went underground into the Durgar. They drafted the Durgar to fight the Elves. It was quite near the end of the book, and you
Was that
both.
after we met the Queen?
It was before you met the Queen, but only just before. You had just right before you went into the forest. So this is you were having a mutiny, and you overthrew the whole town of Gwyn. You and Lumla. That's true. Lumla had drafted herself into the army, and you came with. And within a couple days, you had attacked you basically taken out the leader of the army camp, who was a dwarvish guy who had like locked up people and stuff. He was very weird.
I remember. I don't know what suddenly made me think about it. But there was this one thing I was still a little foggy about. I think it had to do with Balthazar's character. I remember they somehow got transformed into the body of dwarves from a different time or something.
It might have something to do with that. We should talk more about if you. I'd love to like read to you some of the third book. It's still going to be a while before we get that on paper, unfortunately. And I also want to get the A. Nancy Spender book that you're about on paper too. And I'm trying to get that happen, but it's taking me a while.
Yeah, I was trying to be meta. I think I was still at Jason's. I was trying to write a thing on, just adding another little few paragraph character ideas and thoughts for my thing.
Yeah.
And, one of them was trying to create a meta scenario between myself and Penn that Shakes is an actual person in Penn.
Ooh, that's trippy.
Along with Balthazar.
That's trippy.
That's don't know it.
We should work on that stuff. We should get that. We should keep thinking about it. Let's keep. I love that idea. The more creative you get with the creation of the internal structure of you, and then also like I can do the same, with things I've gone through. Like that's what the renarrative therapy really does well with the idea, not just therapy, but also just creating myths and stuff like we're doing here.
Mine was really just the desire to bring back and play characters I had done in the past.
Oh, that's cool too. That's kind of more low key, but it's still exciting. It's really exciting.
I thought it would just be really meta for them to exist in some form.
I love that idea. We should work on that.
I wrote it, but then I felt like it didn't apply to the story we were doing, so I didn't post it because it seemed off the cuff and disconnected.
I think you should put it on the place that you put most of the other stuff, the character one, or whatever's the channel that it's on, which is the character bios, character art, that stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
So put it on there, man. I'd love that, and we could make it as a tie into some of the second story, because Shakes is really the third book will come out soon, then Balthazar will come, but the Shakes character is really all through the second book, which is already out.
Right.
Well, that's exciting.
It'd be interesting to re-see characters in that sense, and I wrote it as if they're existing in Zoltea, Balthazar and Shakes as paladins of the castle, trying to keep Arcane Maelstrom from escaping the palace.
Nice.
And they fail miserably.
You know what? Write it, post that stuff, and then we can use it. I have a way I think we could use it in the story. This story here.
Really?
Yeah, I got something.
All right, well, I'll look through my writings on my phone thing and find it and post it.
That'd be good, friend. Good.
You can tell me what you think.
I will. That'd be great. Well, let me let you go for now, and I'll call you. I'll text you tomorrow when I wake up because I'm not sure when I'm waking up. But I probably wake up by the later morning, early afternoon.
Okay. Well, give me a call. It's Friday. I'm just gonna be here, and if I do leave the house, it's not gonna be till much later in the evening, like 8 or 9. So, anytime in the evening tomorrow before 8 or 9, I'd surely be chilling here, willing to play whatever.
Okay, brother. Well, thanks a lot. I'll call you. I'll text you soon. I'll text you tomorrow.
Thanks for the game, Sid.
Thanks a lot.